The media is going to have an absolute meltdown shortly because Donald Trump is making arrangements to meet with Putin. So, media meltdown incoming. Watch out. Red alert, red alert. There is going to be absolute spasms happening all across the news media and also all across Congress as Trump sits down with Putin to make a deal to end the war in Ukraine. And of course, this is going to come out ultimately favorable to Putin. He's going to get what he wanted, which is the war is going to stop. There's going to be no NATO for Ukraine, and he's going to be able to keep a bunch of the land that he didn't have before. So in the end, Russia wins this war, and we just slaughtered a bunch of Ukrainians for no reason and took the resources from Ukraine for no reason for Ukraine. I mean, good for America, bad for Ukraine. And in the end, the outcome. What were all of these crazy lunatic leftists thinking? What were they thinking when they decided, oh, we've got to stop Putin and we'll do it at all costs, including the cost of 500,000 Ukrainian men? I mean, what in the world were they thinking? So the possible Trump summit is going to happen. Here's Reuters explaining it. Now they're trying to figure out a venue for this meeting. And some of the venues are looking at Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. This makes a lot of sense. The Middle East is close for obviously Russia. It doesn't take them long to get to the Middle East. The United States can meet in the Middle East as well with Russia. Putin's banned from going. He has an arrest warrant, just like Netanyahu, for the International Criminal Court. And so Putin is limited on where he can go. Also, a lot of these European countries are not obviously friendly to Putin, quite hostile. So it makes sense to, China's not really an option for the United States to have this meeting. The United States is not on good terms with China, but the United States is on good terms with Saudi Arabia. So my guess is this meeting happens there or the United Arab Emirates. Both countries pretty neutral for both of those locations are neutral for both countries. And so Putin and Trump are supposed to be having this meeting fairly soon. They're trying to make this happen sooner than later because Trump wants to see this war end. And I think this will be an absolute amazing thing. It'll be excellent for the Trump administration, for another feather in his cap for sure to end the war in Russia or the war in Ukraine. What's interesting, however, is Trump has been eyeing Greenland, as you know. He's dead serious about this. He wants Greenland and he wants to take it from Denmark. So Denmark, in their panic, has interestingly now allowed a Russian company to come in and actually repair the Nord Stream pipeline that was blown up, mysteriously blown up. Nobody knows who blew it up. The West tried to claim Russia blew up their own pipeline, but that doesn't make any sense. Now, does it when you actually stop to think about it, especially in hindsight? Does that make sense to you if you believe that? Were you one of those people that believe that Russia blew up their own pipeline? Does that make sense to you today, now, in hindsight? So here's the story of Denmark. Now, Denmark is kind of putting this in a real soft way. They're saying, oh, no. We're not trying to restart the Nord Stream pipeline. We're not looking to turn it back on. We're just going to let the company come in and do some repairs to prevent further environmental damage. This is good for the environment. That's why we're doing it. Oh, really? Okay. So you didn't think to do that a year or two ago. You didn't think it was good for the environment a year or two ago. But now that Trump is threatening Greenland and you realize you need to be looking at Denmark first, right? You need to be Denmark first. Europe should be Europe first. Every country should be their own country first. And they should be looking out for themselves. And they shouldn't be relying on alliances that come and go on a whim. And the United States is showing to Europe and Canada and Mexico and a lot of other places that our alliance is fragile, that an alliance is not, it's just an alliance. Alliances are temporary. That's not your own family. So Denmark has given the green light to preservation work on the damaged Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline in the Baltic Sea. A unit of Russia's Gazprom will carry out the work, not to immediately resume the pipeline, but to reduce environmental and safety risks, the Danish Energy Agency said. Who believes that? Or are they like, we're going to need to get some gas from Russia because the United States is about to tariff our ass and take Greenland on top of it. President Duda said that the gas pipeline should be dismantled. Now, President Duda is from Poland, and Poland is very against this pipeline. Once it dismantled, once it gone, wants it to never resume operation again. But the Europeans have been hesitant to actually dismantle the thing because they're like, well, yeah, maybe we kind of need it. Maybe we just want to keep this open just in case we might want to turn it back on because we might need it. Because the only other place that Europe is going to be getting some natural gas is from where? The United States. And the US is kind of acting like a big bully. And again, you never know. I mean, look, like you can only rely on yourself at the end of the day. You could try to do deals with others, but they can always turn on you the minute a bigger, better deal comes along. So why would Europe they shouldn't rely on Russia or the United States. I mean, they should diversify and rely on everybody. That way they're not screwed when when the pipeline blows up or another country decides to tariff them to the moon. I mean, you've got to have diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I thought we were all taught that. So EU diplomats have said that they support the stance that they will not resume the pipeline, but again, they're not dismantling it. And now Denmark is saying, all right, come in and do some restoration work, but not because we're going to turn the thing back on. We don't want there to be some environmental damage. So just think about this. I mean, these countries went along with this ridiculous war. They funneled a ton of their money to Ukraine. They allowed the blowing up of their own pipeline. The United States with, I guess, Norway or who knows who, the US for sure was involved in this. The West in general, we'll just say, blew up the pipeline. There they are. They sabotage themselves by blowing up the pipeline. They give all their money away to Ukraine. And what good has it done? Now Trump is going to meet with Putin. The war is going to end. Putin will have claimed more of Ukraine. Ukraine has lost hundreds of thousands, if not 1 million soldiers. And for what? And their resources get siphoned because they got to pay back all the money that we gave them so that we get to take their resources away from them. So what exactly did Ukraine gain from this? And what did Europe gain from this now that they have to tuck their tail between their legs and go back to Russia and say, okay, actually, we do want some of that gas that you were selling us for cheap. It's good for Europe. It's good for the Europeans. We want to rebuild relationships. And I mean, this is just, what a joke. This whole thing has been a total and complete joke. So we'll see. We'll see how that meeting goes, and we'll watch in these next 4 years. I can guarantee you by the time these 4 years are over, all of this posturing against Russia and all, it's all going to be gone in the rearview mirror, and everybody will wonder what the hell all of this was even about and why it was done. And who was the idiot? Who were all the idiots in charge that decided that they could lead the world into what? This was so great. Greatness. This was leading us to greatness. Thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iversen Show. If you want to watch the full show, visit KimIversonShow.com. The show airs every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's KimIversonShow.com. See you there.